Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Working Overtime podcast. I'll be your host this week, Hayden, and as always, I'm joined by Bleach, aka Bleach Tarts,
Hello.
Mike, aka Big Dick Breezy,
God's sake. Hello.
and last but in no means least, Scott, aka Saka 100.
Hello.
So, how's it going, guys? Has everybody been has it been 2 weeks since the last podcast?
It's been just over 2 weeks.
2 full weeks.
Was this our first break between podcasts?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we run out of stuff to talk about.
It's been cool though. Obviously did a virtual hangout for a mate's birthday on Friday. What did I do yesterday? I streamed yesterday and then watched a film. Oh, I watched Lords of Dogtown yesterday for the first time in like 10 years.
Still,
Nice, TA, nice.
Still holds up. Still holds up. And
Did it make you want to go out and do Bert slides?
do you know what? I can safely say it didn't.
It always makes me
I
want
don't-
to go out and do Bert slides.
I don't miss skateboarding at all. And then today,
That's why.
Today went to Regent's Park, saw some dogs, came back, watched football, watched the Architects live stream, and now we're doing this.
Saw some dags.
Saw some digs.
Nice. Can't go wrong with seeing some dogs.
Yeah.
What about you, Scott? How's things been?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously we had a virtual hangout, but I popped over to drop old Sean. He's with some of us are becoming 30 within the next kind of year.
Nope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no.
scary, isn't it?
That's depressing.
Yeah. Get the nooses out, boys.
Not true.
Yeah.
Fake news.
30 within 2 years, but some of the group are getting old now. So
Old already.
yeah.
Just a caveat as well. If Scott disappears at any point, it's because he's been having internet troubles today. So
We shall see. I might vanish.
This
Yeah.
podcast is not and never will be sponsored by Virgin Media. So
even if it was, quite frankly, we might tell them to go and fuck themselves.
allegedly.
Yeah, they do. The
Absolutely.
views of my own and not that of the Working Overtime podcast. What
We
about
have
you,
no way
Bleach?
of
Anything
getting-
exciting in the last couple of weeks?
Actually, yeah. You guys give me shit for living in a posh area.
Do we?
The other week you did.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
going to say what the area is, but
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
you give me shit for living.
I'll post your address in the chat. Hang on.
Yeah. But so on Tuesday, I think
Massive Tory. Sorry, go on.
hot. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Careful.
Be realistic. Yeah, no. About I think going to like you're in that kind of limbo between like you're not quite awake but you're not quite asleep.
Yeah.
And I heard yelling outside my house. And I was like, you get drunk people walking up and down my road all the time. It's like, I was like, but then like the yelling kept getting up more and more aggressive.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck is actually going outside? Look outside the window. Literally across the road, there was just a cop on a guy's back. Just like pinning the guy down on the ground.
Bleach was out the window, shouldn't put your knee on his neck.
Yeah. No, and essentially there was people got done for attempted burglary down my street on Tuesday.
Oh wow.
Called in the dog units because the other guy was hiding in gardens. They called in their fucking helicopter. And then it's funny. So the guy was like saying, oh, where you from? Like the cop was going, where you from? Where you from? And the guy was like, oh, East Ham. And the guy was like, East Ham? Then why the fuck are you here at 2 a.m.? And I was like, he's got you there, mate. He's saying you're right there.
That's a good question. Why are you
Yeah.
at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, and yeah, that was essentially it. And then I think since then, I've been just living off that highlight to show that my area isn't as secure as other people thought.
Well, I mean, if anything, if it's posh, that would increase the chances of potential burglaries because
Burglaries,
I mean,
yeah. It was only
the police,
attended- I mean,
the police
not
person.
to one up you, Bleach, but
Yeah.
when I used to live where I used to live before I moved out here, like three or four doors down from my house, I looked out the window once and there was just an armed police raid going on because like they thought this guy had guns or some shit. I was like looked out the window and a bunch of them fucking Jeep things turned up, like 12 cops with guns barreled out. So not to one up you, but I'm one upping you.
That's fair.
My area is shitter than your area.
I take pride in that.
Call that a mugging.
Yeah, you can't mug it. I've never been mugged. Never been mugged.
Oh, lucky you. Right, let's go around the room then. So I've been mugged about It's got to be close to 10, I think. I'd say I've had about 6 or 7 times. I think I've been
I
mugged.
feel like to be mugged that many times, how bad do you have to be at life? Essentially,
Do you know what?
I'm so bad at life. I just keep getting.
I've got to say, I didn't get mugged as a result of this. Sorry to cut you off, Aiden, but like, it's just reminded me of something. I didn't get mugged as a result of this, but it was around that time where getting mugged was a frequent occurrence. And I was walking through, I think I might have been with Scott, and we're walking through like the area where we used to live and whatnot. And like this guy in this tracksuit comes up to us, like a fairly dodgy looking bloke, like the sort of type you think he might mug me. He's come up to me and he's gone, "Oh, sorry, mate, you ain't got the time, have you?" I'm like, no. You got to wake me up. You got to get me up pretty early in the morning to catch me like that, fella. Like, no chance. I'm onto you. And I was like, no, I don't. Sorry, mate. He went, so, you not got like a phone or anything? I was like, battery died like 5 minutes ago. So I haven't got to watch or anything. So, and I shit you not, as soon as I said that, as soon as that sentence left my mouth, my dad started calling me. The bloke's looked at. I looked at my pocket. I looked at my pocket, looked back up, and the bloke's done the same. Look, went. What's that then? I was like, oh,
you said phone.
Oh, I guess I said, I kind of just sort of started for a bit, and he just went, "Look, mate, I just want to know the time." Like, he just gave me like his car keys or whatever. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna nick it from you. Look here, take my car keys.
I just want the time.
I just want the time. I was like, okay, fair enough. So anyway, long story short, got myself a free car. So.
I thought he was going to say that he gave his car keys, punched in the face, took his car keys.
That would have been an alpha play, but yeah.
I don't see how that helps. Look, take my phone, take my car keys, and then you can get your phone out and tell me the time.
I think he was trying to gain.
So you do that, and then you give him his car keys back, and then he just mugs you for your phone.
Yeah. But by that point, I had to just go with it because I'd already lied once, so I've been caught out.
Fair enough, you've been caught out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always double down. That would be the real big dick move.
Yeah.
Don't you know about, mate? Didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
What's that noise? That's your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just hand him your phone as well. This is your phone.
But yeah, no, I got mugged a few times growing up, but like, never lost anything valuable. Got my homework nicked once.
Yeah. And then imagine us in school going, I generally didn't do my homework because someone nicked it.
Generally, we were walking back from school and they were these kids stopped us, start going through our pockets, trying to look for a phone or whatever, and they literally pulled out like some paper. And I think they assumed, I think they just in the moment thought it was money, but it was like an IT. I think it was homework for IT. So they took for that the teacher would just print off the assignment for you to take home and then apply a list of copy this file into this folder and whatnot, and so I just had the bit of paper fold up in my blazer pocket, and the guy just took it. I'm guessing with a bunch of old paper, assuming it was money. Standing there in front of the IT teacher, being like, "I was generally mugged, and they took my homework. I don't know what else you want from me."
You get a detention with a kid whose dog ate his homework.
I think he said to us it's like, oh, it's one of the weirder excuses I've heard. I was like, well, exactly. So like, why would I make if I was gonna lie, I'd come up with a better lie.
Yeah, something that's not completely unbelievable.
Do you know what I mean?
No one's gonna believe that.
I would absolutely love it though if like a kid went rounds and actually did that on purpose. Like, your teacher's never gonna believe you. So
have fun in detention, bitch.
Yeah.
It's like, no one will believe you. Yeah, that would have been good.
That'll be the next YouTube prank trend, won't it?
stealing this kid's homework gone wrong.
You wouldn't believe what happens next.
Just like some that red anger emoji in the thumbnail. Some red arrows for good measure. I hate you.
Red arrow to a red circle. Have either you two been mugged that much then?
Yeah, probably the same or more, to be honest.
Yeah, we all grew up together, so generally when one of us got mugged, the rest of us got mugged.
Yeah.
Because usually it was, a bunch of
group mugging.
It was like 3 or 4 13-year-olds standing at a bus stop, and like a 17-year-old and his mate would come up and be like, "If you don't give me your money, we're gonna fuck you all up." And it's like, well, I've only got £2.50, so I'd rather not get punched in the face today.
The worst part was you save up all your money. If you get lunch money or whatever, and you say any change you get, you'd save up from between Monday and into Friday. And at Friday, you'd probably have about £2, which would go a long way in the corner shop around the corner from the school. So you could get home with like a good couple of snacks for the journey home on the Friday, and then someone comes and nicks it off you.
The worst one, it wasn't me, but it was Chris. When It was like the hottest day of the fucking year. It was so hot. It was the middle of summer, and Chris had 10 pence, right? He had 10p, and he was like, "I've been saving this. I'm going to get an ice pole from the shop on the way home. It's going to be amazing." And this guy who always mugged us, I won't name names, but this guy who always mugged us, stopped me and Chris, and he was like, "What have you got for me?" And I was like, "I got nothing, man." I had £1 in my pocket, but I thought I'm going to try and play this out. It was like that scene in Friday. I was like, "I'm just going to tuck mine in." I was just like, "I hope this works." And I was like, "I ain't got nothing, man." And he looked at Chris and was like, "What about you?" And Chris thought he was being clever, right? And got his 10p out and was like, "I've just got this," thinking that like he's not going to mug me for 10. He's not like rob me for 10 pence, is he? He robbed him for 10 pence. I've never seen somebody so upset. Like, not because it was like the trauma of a mugging, because it was like second nature by that point. It was like, oh, you have to carry half your money in your
Mondays.
sock to avoid. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was just the like desperation of I just wanted an ice pole. It's so hot. I just wanted to cool down on the way home.
Did you, with your quid, did you get an ice pole?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Because if you did, you're really the real villain in the story.
Yeah, I probably am. I don't know. I might have done. I can't remember. I don't know. It might not have been a pound. I might have had like 50p. I can't remember. Because you could get so much back in the day. I remember when in year 7, you could get a chicken burger, a bag of chips, and a can of Coke for like £2 from the canteen.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have Pasta King in your school?
Do we have what?
Pasta King.
No. We did have pasta and stuff. We could get like pasta at the school, but I don't know what Pasta King is.
It was like this third-party thing that came into our school like a few times a week, and it was just like pasta, but it's oh my god, that is in like a styrofoam cup. It's like I just sound really posh.
See, we had it was like some chicken thing. It was like a burger, because we had like a similar thing. It was like a third party thing that came in. But it was like chicken and burgers, wasn't it, or something like that?
Or was it hot? It was like was it not like a baguette with the middle bit of the bread removed and a fucking hot dog put in it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I just remember the fries came in like a red and white box, and everyone lost their minds for like a week. So I thought it was like
Chicken Joe's.
Chicken Joe's, that was it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
glorified chicken and chips. It was just like absolute shit.
Yeah,
but all of us mugs in the line going, oh, it's in a box.
Holy shit!
It's like Dixie.
No, when I was in school, it was literally save your money for like as much as possible. So like instead of getting like chips and cheese for £1.50, I was literally eating just the shitty pasta from the canteen for 80p. To save that 70p. So at the end of it, obviously when we were like of age going out drinking, I would have like a £5 left at the end. Literally starving myself for 5 days a week.
I think 4 strongbows at the weekend.
The thing is, I've had that. I had that pasta a couple of times at that school, and it was not good.
Yeah,
it was not good.
I got used to it by the end of it.
It weren't too bad.
Yeah. It's like prison food.
Yeah, exactly. You just get what's the word? You get fucking institutionalized, don't you?
Yeah, trying to get really matey with the dinner ladies to try and give you a little bit more.
Morning, Sandra.
Giving her a wink. Oh, looking beautiful as always, Sandra. She's like 57 years old.
Do you know what? That used to work really well for me. Like when I was in sixth form, and I started smoking around sixth form time, and like. She wasn't a dinner lady, I think. She was one of like the hall women that used to walk up and down the halls with the radio. And like, no, not quite. No, that was university home. But like, but no, and it ends up being. I think she went on the same CPR course as my mum. So her and my mum got quite matey. So then she like ended up being like, oh, every morning, you alright, Mike? How's your mum? So, yeah, she's alright, son. Anyway, it got to the point of like by the time I used to go out for fags at like in sixth form. She just, I walk past, she go, where are you off to? I'm just going to pull outside for a smoke. She's like, don't say anything, no. And then, yeah, she'd be cool with it. She'd just come outside and go, you got a lighter? It's like, yeah, go on then. Just don't say anything to mum. You'll be all right.
Sounds like you was getting groomed.
Potentially, but I got to go out for smoke without getting bothered by anyone. So
on tonight's episode, we uncover Mike's molestation.
Let's bring in our special guest, Chris Hansen. Chris.
Take away, Chris.
But yeah, no, good. It was school was interesting like that.
I do miss it though.
Yeah,
school was a good laugh.
I don't know. I mean, private school was fun and all, but
Oh,
I do not go to private school. I do not want this to become an ongoing
No,
joke.
that's the meme.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out there now. The internet's heard it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Like, I was actually speaking to my friends today about one of my most like embarrassing moments in secondary school. And I don't know if I've told you this before. It was like you know, like the massive end of school like house party.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Well,
it was
I say yeah, we never got invited to them, but yeah, we know which ones you mean.
No, we
I'm
did
joking. I'm
anyway.
joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
He's not joking.
Fucking- Just trying to make us look cooler than we were.
Yeah.
So essentially, there was this girl who I kind of had like a thing for like pretty much all through school. And, like, we was quite mates at the same time, and it's like she kind of knew I had feelings and stuff like that as well. Anyway, oh my god, now this is the memory that makes me stay up like at 3 a.m. and cringe. I'm over it now, but for many years it was. And essentially, I was like, hey, like I was 16-year-old and drunk. I was like, hey, can you like come down to the end of the garden? I want to like just like have a bit of heart to heart, like a goodbye. And 16-year-old drunk me was speaking to this girl who I had feelings for. And I remember in my head, I was like, it would look really good right now if I start crying.
You what?
In my head, I was like, if I start crying right now, that would look really good. It really look like I care.
Just to inject very quickly. Anywhere that story could have started going, I would not have guessed that that's where that was going to end up. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And so, drunkenly, I start forcing emotions and I start crying at the end of a garden with this girl. And it's so awkward. She just turns around and walks away. Now I'm down at the bottom of the garden, crying my eyes out. Because I'm just so fucking drunk. I don't know what's going on. I'm fucking probably the drunkest I've been up to that point in my life.
He's gonna go. The floodgates are open.
Yeah.
She'll be back.
Yeah. And I remember my friends then came down to the end of the garden and was like, mate, what's wrong? What's wrong? And they all started hugging me. And then like the next it's the most uncomfortable memory. It's just I've got a lot of bad memories, and that one is just
This is
just me crying at the end of a garden at 16 years old.
This is the thing, right? This is the thing, though. Whenever at that age, you're in those situations where you have a chance to go, like, you know, you got a girl you like, and your mates always go to you, well, go on, just go talk to her. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
That's the
There you go. Because like in that situation, when you're like 14, 15, 16, whatever, like you're just a horny little idiot. Like your brain will just come up with these stupid plans that are never going to work.
Like crying.
That you look back on in like 12 years and go, what was I doing?
Yeah. Why the fuck did I do
Thank
that?
you, thank you for justifying my really stupid things. But
I
I
mean,
think
some pretty embarrassing stuff does always happen. I mean, I think my most embarrassing school moment was when Ricky pulled my trousers down and my pants also came down and my cock and balls were on view to everybody in the playground.
nice.
What was even more embarrassing? We weren't even in school at the time. This was last week.
Yeah.
It was in a school, but we don't know about that.
My school. I never said it was my school.
Yeah, why were you there?
I think so if I told you, I think I've told Hayden this before, the story about the notepad as well, my end of year notepad.
I haven't heard this.
Oh, it's a bit of a doozy. It's not as bad, but it's a bit cringy. So essentially, there was another girl, like we was quite buddy and stuff like that. You know, like end of year, everyone signs each other's shirts. Did you guys get like a little notepad and you got like everyone to sign it and stuff like that?
No, we did the shirts.
Yeah, it was the shirts.
Yeah.
Our school did both. I don't know why everyone did notepads, but that was the thing. But I remember she was talking to me and was like, oh, where's your notepad? I want to sign it. And I can't remember exactly what I said, but I basically made a joke of like, oh, like there's no one I'd want to sign it anyway. Like, you know, like you're trying to be like fucking edgy 16. Like, yeah, like, it wasn't that cringy at the time. It was like a very like backhanded like comment. And anyway, it's the sweetest fucking thing. So basically, she then went out and bought a notepad for me and got everyone in the year to sign it. So it's really nice gesture. But what she was telling, the way that she kind of understood what I said, is she thought I was like, oh, I don't have a notepad because I don't think anyone would sign it.
I don't have any friends.
So she said that to people as she was signing it.
Oh
so
my!
on my last day of school, I received this notepad. I'm like, that is so sweet. It's a really nice sentiment.
Yeah.
And then you read it.
But then
And then you cried.
but then like as I was speaking to some people who signed it, I was like, yeah, no, like, yeah, why did you think no one wanted to sign your book? I was like, I didn't say that. And it's like, oh, that's what she said. And I was like, no. No. It's like, but my last like hour of school was me going, guys, I don't care. I don't care.
Oh my
Standing on the
God.
table in every class going, I just want to make an announcement.
Yeah.
Thanks for the book.
But I
it's
really
not that I didn't
don't
think
care.
you would sign it, it's that I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the same girl as the neighbor.
Oh,
That's the same girl.
So she's wow.
Sure, that nice thing.
No. What changed? She sounds so sweet and innocent. And
Oh yeah, I know, but the neighbor story happened.
then the neighbour comes along and ruins everything.
Yeah, the fucking neighbor.
The fucking neighbour.
Have we mentioned the neighbour?
Have we?
on this yet?
I don't think we've mentioned it on this podcast. We've mentioned it on streams before. I think.
I don't know if I can. It's very specific. I'll allude to it quite loosely for plausible deniability.
Smart.
But if they read this, they know it's going to be them because it's the same person as the notepad.
I will say for the people involved in the story, it's for one particular individual involved in the story, us telling the podcast telling about the story on the podcast. Not the worst thing about the story; it's the fact that it happened. Do you know what I mean?
To
Like,
be fair, realistically, they're never going to see it, Bleach, so you should just put them on blast.
yeah.
So
Call 'em out.
Names and addresses, Bleach.
Oh god, no. So this the girl who got me the notepad. Basically, she I found this story out through someone else because I had catch up drinks from like an old school friend, and they told me about this. Basically, the notepad girl had a boyfriend of many years. You know, they like save up together. They buy a house. I think it was mostly his money because I think he had a really good job at the time. So you know, they like fucking they've been dating for like 6 or 7 years, like since school, and then they buy a house together, move in together, and then she has an affair with their neighbor, and it's just that would fucking destroy anyone. I honestly feel like, and it's just like it's purely for the fact of like imagine being that guy. And it's like I'll be thinking, it's like if I moved anywhere else, that probably wouldn't have happened. It probably would.
Well, maybe it would
at
have.
some point. Yeah,
That almost
But,
definitely
like-
would have happened.
yeah, but like Jesus Christ, like
That's the sort of shit that can give you like genuine PTSD. Like not even trying to be like overdramatic. That is the kind of shit that you may need therapy for to repair. Because fuck that.
I honestly think there's no coming back from that.
No.
It's just the person you love, you move in with them, and then they cheat on you with the fucking. It's such a cliche. That's the worst bit. It's cliche. Yeah, it's not even original.
Could you?
Didn't she also end up moving in and getting another place with said neighbor?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, why did I skip that bit? No, she is also now pregnant with the neighbor's kid, and she moved in with the neighbor.
Next door.
Yeah, she basically moved like next door and got pregnant with this neighbor who she had an affair with.
Fucking hell. You either have to move house or just have the most fucking amazing parties. Just just invite women, just all women.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do that. I don't think we know many.
I just remember because the person who I got like catch up drinks with, they were saying to me like, imagine what that person's mum must think. Like, that girl's mum's like, oh, you know, she's my daughter, I love her, but you know, she did have an affair with the neighbor, is now pregnant, and like my grandchild is now going to be that kid.
Yeah.
I like my daughter, but damn, she a hoe.
She was such a sweet girl. She's so nice. She's
That
so
was our
nice.
problem. She's too nice. Too nice.
Not
to the
anymore.
Not anymore. It's just, oh man, yeah. That is just that's just. It's like you couldn't even imagine, could you? Genuinely couldn't even imagine.
Fuck that noise.
I mean, I could, but I've got a massive cuck fetish, so you know.
I think Bleach imagines it.
I think about
in
yeah.
the closet. So.
There you go.
I did have a question as well for you boys as well. I don't know if I said it as well twice. So when we came to the terms, I was going to call you Big Dick Breezy. A question I did want to ask you guys.
I'll get the tape measure.
No, it's not that. It's Have any of you guys ever like had a run-in with whiskey dick before? Have you-
Jeremy don't even know what it is. Like what?
You can't get up.
Oh no.
But isn't it from being drunk?
From being drunk.
Yeah, it's from being drunk.
Oh
yeah.
yes.
Happens to me once.
I've been obliterated a couple of times, and it's just I can barely string a sentence together. There's no way on.
Can perform, yeah.
I just remember like I would always give my mate one of my friends would get really bad. Not that I know from personal experience.
Ruin the friendship.
Yeah, I remember
Your
digging.
friend.
I remember digging into him, and then one night I got it. I was like, I can't believe this is happening to me.
It's called karma,
That's
man.
karma. Yeah.
Oh, it's such a weird experience when it happens. It's such a weird experience because like you're
Fighter pilot going.
no, because it's like you're trying so fucking hard, and it's like you get out, you give it the old shake to like strengthen it up, and then you go back in, and then within like 2 more pumps, you just feel it going again, and you're like, no, fucking come on. Your body's like, she can't fucking handle it. Give her all she's got.
Making the noises that you make when you go through the fucking the portal in Zombies. You know the noise Hayden was making the other day.
Yeah.
It's 30 G's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bleach is in the fucking centrifuge. Going,
Oh, it's the worst experience. I've had it once and I never want it again. And I wouldn't recommend it.
It's alright, just drink more.
I don't drink that heavily anymore. And the kind of when I stopped drinking so heavily and when I, got girls to be interested in me, there wasn't very much overlap. So I know I never had that issue.
No.
Like when we were getting proper fucked up, it was at like the field and like house parties and stuff where,
chances were an all-time minimum, should we say?
Yeah. So,
but I blame the haircuts, to be honest. But
yeah, I understand why we were bullied.
yeah,
I get it now.
I wouldn't say we were bullied. I just think we were easy targets for.
Yeah, and I understand. I look back at pictures of us. There's a picture of us three and Chris on a bench. Not you, Bleach.
That's right. This is
and I look at this picture and I look at all of us and just think, "The fuck are we doing?"
I know.
What the fuck do we look like?
Speaking on a topic though of like whiskey dick and stuff like that. I mean, I'm circling back anyway.
What a segue, Christ!
Yeah, what a segue. Today's sponsor. If you guys are willing to share, so I know it can be a bit of a topic. What has been the most embarrassing experiences? Just most embarrassing sexual experiences, you boys. I want to dive in deep here.
I can't say I've ever had anything embarrassing.
I don't think I'm genuinely. I don't think I have. Genuinely, I think the closest I can think of. Oh God!
There you go. Here you go.
No, it's not. It's not. It's honestly not that bad. But it's.
She came in with a tub of grease, like beef dripping, and I was like, "What are you gonna do with that?"
It's not that bad. It just harpers back to last week. Some people are going to think I got a problem with sneezing, but it was sneeze related. It's pretty self-explanatory. Let me put it this way: have you ever had a sneeze just sneak up on you?
What was you doing when this sneeze snuck up on you?
Missionary. But it's like when you
she expected all over her face.
You know when you get like 0.5 of a second to like prepare for it's just going away and all of a sudden just having a lovely time and all of a sudden just yeah.
I'm gonna say you sneeze when you're just going down on her.
No. No, because I feel like I could have masked that a bit better.
Yeah.
But that was
when the snot shoots out and hits her right in the forehead. You can't really play that off.
Yeah, no, because that was like over 10 years ago, so I've forgotten about it now. But thanks for digging that one up.
You're welcome.
But no, honestly, apart from that, I've never had anything that's like I look back on and like sort of go, I can't believe I'm the one of the people that's happened to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Must be nice.
yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm not.
Can't
Well,
think of
to be fair, I don't think I'm as promiscuous as you are, Bleach. So.
Not promiscuous. I'm a gentleman. Doubt. Everyone doubts.
just the usual, really. You know, like parents coming in and shit. You got
Yeah,
the
that's a
flat
classic.
cold.
I've never had parents coming in. I've gotten into my parents' room. Just room for one more.
The only other thing I can think of is that I guess this kind of counts as embarrassing. It wasn't so much embarrassing; it was more just annoying. But like, I think when I lost my virginity, the night it happened, like I think because it was one of them things.
Also last week, it was after the school.
No, but it was one of them things of like still living at home. Had my didn't want to have to deal with that. So I was like, well, the idea was wait for an evening. My parents aren't home, and this so happened to coincide with the night that everyone was going out drinking. And it was like, oh, Mike, why aren't you going to be there? It's like, well, girlfriend's coming over, parents aren't in. Everyone knew, and then like I don't know how they timed it so perfectly, but they around the time it all started happening, one of our mates decided it'd be a good idea just to constantly start ringing me. Nice. Like literally at 6 to the point I had to turn my phone off.
Yeah,
I got about 8 texts, and just about so many people try and ringing me, and it was just like. It's just like, yeah, I would have joined in if I was on the other side of that, and I would have found it hilarious. But I'm not laughing right now, and this is shit.
It's like one of them things that you think I'm not even mad.
That's the thing. It's like I can't be too angry because, like, if I'd have been there and it was one of you guys or whatever, it was someone else. Yeah, I'd have joined in. I'll be one of the people ringing his phone. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when it's happening to you, it's not as fun. But yeah, that's that and the other thing. That's the only literally thing I can think of off the top of my head.
I think like I don't think I've really had any like mine are more horror stories than embarrassing. I'm not embarrassed by them. I was like, that wasn't a great time. Like when I did the old banjo.
Oh my god.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh my lord.
And I remember I was live texting you guys.
Yeah, because we were at the pub.
Yeah.
Awful.
I remember sitting there and talking to Sean, and then I just got a text, and it was just a bloody tissue, and I was like, "What is this?"
Mate, it's the worst experience. It's the worst. It's such a knee-jerk reaction. So I was like, I drove like 40 minutes that night as well. I drove all that way, and I just remember it happened within the first 5 minutes as well. But it's like
getting tail in the face, losing blood.
Oh mate,
I'm bleeding out.
No, so it's like
call an ambulance.
This is why you don't rush foreplay, okay? You don't rush it, because we did, and then what happened was I went to go in, and then there was a bit of resistance, and then I think she was just like, "Oh,
that's a very poor choice of words, I must say, Bleach. Because out of context, that does not sound good for you. But we'll give you this opportunity to rephrase that.
It wasn't just sliding in. There was a. I was about to say there was a struggle. It wasn't a struggle. It wasn't a struggle.
All right, hang on. Let me email the lawyer.
No. Yeah, and basically. She was like, "Oh, is it not all the way in? Okay." And then so she decided to like slam back against me like full force. And as soon as she did that, knee-jerk reaction, I just pushed her off and was like, "No!" I was like, immediately, I was like, "Something's wrong." Pushed her off me, and like, I've never heard my dick go from so hard to so limp so quick.
Oh, for God's sake!
I remember I pulled it out, and it's just like a limp noodle, just pissing blood. And I was like, "What did I do? What's happened?"
Oh God!
I remember I just went.
No, call it.
Yeah, I just remember I went to fucking went to the shower. I tried to wash it off. She just sat next to me, like she sat in the toilet just watching me. And I was in the shower, just going like, I don't know what's going on. Fucking went to A&E, and then the fucking nurses were no help. I was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I'm bleeding from my penis. So what's that?
Sandra, this one says he's broke his knob.
It was literally like that. It was like, and I remember there was like, "Yeah, you're fine." He's like, "It's not a full tear, just like it's a slight split." I was like, don't use that word. I don't like that word.
Is that meant to comfort me?
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, the nurse was basically like, hey, listen, happens all the time. Just don't do anything with it for like 6 months. I was like, 6 months? Are you fucking kidding me?
Did you actually go 6 months without, or
3 months?
okay?
But for 2 months, I didn't even touch it. I was so petrified. I was like, I don't even want to risk it.
I imagine it's like when you break your leg or whatever, and they're like, don't walk on it for a certain amount of time, and you're like, at the beginning, you're like, yeah, of course, it's minimum of like 6 months, whatever. And after a couple of months, you're like, I can put a bit of weight on it. Fuck it, fuck it, it'll be all right. He's the doctor. What does he know?
Why did I buy this fleshlight? For fuck's sake!
Yeah, betrayed by the petroleum. Yeah, honestly, mate. Honestly, the amount of blood that comes out from that massive thing.
Yeah. Right. Well, if you've been affected by it,
it's under pressure as well, isn't it? At that point, so I imagine it's
yeah. Well, if you've been affected by any of the stories told in tonight's episode, then do feel free to let us know in the comment section. We'll do our best
to help. 40 minutes in, and we've touched on so many deep issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never had anything like that.
Going deep.
I've never had anything going deep. Nice. I've never had anything like that, but I was once doing my business, as you do.
What's your business?
Taxes.
State your business.
No, I was.
My tax is so fucking hard.
God, it's hard just thinking about it.
Oh yeah, deduct that expense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fucking VAT 20% in there.
I'm having a nice time, lady. And we weren't doing our taxes. And
your VAT in me, yeah. VAT.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, you were mid-coitus.
Yeah, I'm behind this girl, and she thinks she's doing me a favour.
You're in a queue.
The story's not even going to be that funny now. You know that?
Especially now when you carry on, all we're going to imagine is you standing in a queue.
Oh god! Okay, just standing there, just being like playing solitaire on his phone. Oh god! So sad.
Carry on, Owen. Carry on.
So I was behind this girl, and she thinks it's gonna be a good idea to reach back and fondle my balls.
Why'd you say it like that? Fondle my balls. Sorry.
He sounded so perplexed.
Yeah. As if it was the first time something that's ever happened before.
When you're in a queue, it's a bit hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was just trying to get my weekly shot, I figured she didn't tell me. She didn't say anything, and I've never been so like. For a second, I thought it was somebody else. I mean, there was no one else in the house, but when you just. I was so scared.
It's like Dad walked in and gone, oh, hello.
No, this was at my house, which is what made it more odd. I thought we were being burgled or some shit. I didn't know what was going on. I was terrified.
Was it a burglar trying to see if he was in the heat? Just going, oh yeah.
I thought I was going to have to turn around. I didn't. It was very shocking. It was very shocking.
Do you know what? Just circling back to what we're talking about at the start of the episode, Bleach. I'll take everything back about you being in a posh area, because I'm guessing no burger's going to offer you a free reach around where you're from, are they?
No. That's a real gentlemanly thing, isn't it?
I've nicked his TV. Just have some of that, lad. Go on. Cop a feel of this.
Your flat screen gone, but you're gonna feel fucking amazing.
Something to remember me by, lad. Go on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It proper made me jump. It scared me a little bit because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh.
And then they cuddled.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh dearie me.
Oh god, you fucking idiot!
I don't know where you go from there. To be honest,
yeah. How did we take away from that one?
Speaking of cute,
In a queue. Oh my god. That might be the funniest thing you've ever said.
Fucking hell. So, I guess talking about circling back a little bit to being, back in school, back in college, back in the day. One of the things I thought we could talk about this week would be like first jobs or old, like old jobs before we, had careers. I
Proper
guess.
jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, proper jobs.
Yeah.
So
M&S was my very, very first ever job.
How was that?
no,
It was I fucking hated it. I fucking hated it.
So
It was
what-
ju-
Just for context, just so everyone's like clear, like give away as much information as you want. But what was your role?
I
At
was
M&S?
it was just general customer service.
Like-
It was at gone.
So like tills, stocking shelves, bit of everything. Like
Yeah, a bit of everything.
Okay.
But it was just very generic like customer service work. And I remember it was in a shopping centre like during Christmas rush.
help people queue.
I was a Christmas temp. I fucking hated every minute of it. Fucking shit. I remember I was with other people and it was their first job as well. And then when we was finding out who's getting kept on, who wasn't, some of them didn't get kept on. They seemed really bummed out about it. I found out I wasn't kept on. I was ecstatic. I was like, I'm out. I'm fucking done. I just hated it. I fucking hated it. And then the next job, I really got a promotion in the world and went to Primark.
Nice. Step up.
Yeah, big step up in the world.
I do find that retail, like, because I think we've all worked retail, right?
Yeah.
I find retail gives you an amazing insight into the general public that I don't think you'd have without doing that sort of job, because
Everyone's fucking idiots.
they are the worst. The public are awful.
It really made me realise how stupid.
Cretinous everybody is.
Do you find though
People
since having worked in retail that when you go into shops now, you at least like, obviously if there's a situation where they're, the store's being idiots and it's bad customer service, whatever else is difficult, but do you find you try to like be a bit more understanding to the people working there?
Oh yeah, like this happened to me and Hayden like about a month ago.
Oh fucking hell, yeah.
Where Hayden was buying a TV and we was in PC World, and this
It was
fucking
quite a month ago, please. It was like
was it like a year ago?
Yeah.
Fuck me, that's gone
I moved
far.
out here, dude.
But yeah, basically we went to buy a TV. Hayden told us the story better, so I'll let him say it. Go on, Hayden.
Yeah, so like we went into PC World to buy a TV, right? And I go in and we had a quick look around. I was like, I'll get this one. Right, this one looks pretty good. I'll buy that one. So I said to the guy, oh, excuse me, can I get this TV? And he was like, yeah. And the way they do it now, I don't know if they've always done it like this or whatever, but the way they do it is they've got like little stations around the kind of dotted around the store. And they're like, right, this is TV you want to buy. We'll put it all through the till. You pay for it here at this little station thing by card. And then if you just go wait over by the door with your receipt, someone will just bring it out to you from the back and, they can help you take it to the car or whatever. So we buy it. I pay for it and we're waiting by the door. And we're waiting there for fucking ages, right? And eventually,
like 40 minutes or something.
yeah, it was fucking ridiculous. To the point where we went to customer service because we were like, were we meant to like go to them? And like he definitely said stand here. Like we meant to go to them, and we queued up and they were like, no, just go wait by the door. So anyway, eventually some guy comes over and he's like, oh, did you order the whatever TV it was? And we were like, yeah. And he was he said, oh, well, it turns out that we're actually out of stock. And for whatever reason, they had one on the system that they didn't have in the store or whatever. So basically we can either exchange it for something else or just give you a refund. And I was like, well, I'm moving house, so I kind of needed a TV. So we went back anyway, had a look, and I picked out another one that was like the same price. And he was like, oh, the guy said like, oh yeah, it's basically the same TV just with a different stand or whatever.
Yeah, it was the exact same TV, just instead of like a middle stand, it had two stands at the end.
Stands or
Oh,
whatever.
right, yeah.
It was the
Like,
exact same TV.
Yeah, you guys have all seen my TV anyway. Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'll take that one. He's like, okay, we'll get that for you. And he said, like, to this kid, I don't know, David, whatever this kid's name was, who must have been like
18,
16, 18,
Yeah.
something like that. He was a young kid. It was like clearly one of his first jobs. And they told him, go and get this other TV or whatever. And he brings it out, and he's taking it with us. And like basically, he was like, we have to go over to customer service because we can't just take it. We've got to go over to customer service, and they'll kind of do the exchange or whatever. They'll just like run it through the system, and we can just fuck off. And the guy goes, go and get him that TV, and take him to customer service, bro. Kid picks the TV up. This other bloke out of nowhere who works there was just like, you can't just let him walk out with that. And he was like, yeah, I know, I'm taking him to customer service. And we were like, fuck's this guy's problem? So anyway, we go over to customer service, and the kid, he goes behind we're waiting there at the till. Kid goes behind the counter. Now there's 2 people behind the counter, and like one guy off who's like looked like a manager or whatever, off doing something in the corner, paperwork or whatever. And one of the woman who was behind the counter was serving another customer, and the bloke behind the counter was on the phone to somebody, like I don't know, doing whatever. And we just hear the manager pipe up going, "What are you doing?" And the kid was like, "Oh, I'm like," and he kind of explained, they've got to do this exchange. I'm just waiting to tell somebody. And he was like, "Well, don't just stand there. Like tell them, like tell somebody, and then go." He was like, "Don't just stand there. Tell somebody what's going on, and then just get on with your job." And he was a bit like, "But they're both busy," sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
one's
was
on
like,
the phone,
"Alright."
one's in the middle, like talking to a customer.
Yeah, like what's he supposed to do? So he's standing there waiting anyway, and because he'd explained it to this manager, like what he was, because he was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, they need to exchange this. I'm just waiting to tell somebody," kind of thing. And he was like, "Well, just tell somebody and leave." So the kid's standing there waiting for one of them to be free, and the manager just comes up and goes, just go, I'll deal with it." And we were both standing there like, "You all right, mate?" Was that you?
It's like, I think I turned to Hayden. I was like, I'm really close to just saying, like, don't be such a cunt.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, they was grilling into that kid so bad. It was
And
like,
he didn't even do anything. It was like he was doing what he was told, taking us over to customer services, and he was getting bollocked for. It's like, you can't just let him take it. So I know.
That's
I feel
so
like
bad.
it seemed like everyone just had it out for that one kid, essentially.
When the guy bloke was like, just leave, and he walked off, he walked past us, and I like wanted to say to him, like, can I contact your manager or something?
Yeah, can I give you a tip? Like,
Hit him.
Most people like write into stores to complain about shit, like, "Oh, I got this really poor customer service." I wanted to write in and be like, "I had an interaction with your worker David today. He seemed like a really nice kid. Everyone else in your store treated him like an arsehole."
Everyone else in your store, absolute fucking cunts.
Hashtag free David.
It might be that David's a complete fucking moron. I don't know.
but in that particular instance, he seemed like he was doing a decent job.
Because
Yeah.
what was your boys' first jobs though?
So-
obviously, mum was M&S and Primark.
My first job technically, I worked in a shoe shop in Romford. Fuck it, I need to say it. I'll say it anyway, Romford. Because I don't live there anymore, so I can say it. But yeah,
For the fetish at the time, so it was like a dream job.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But like, no, I had a mate who worked there. It was like he'd been there for a
Also
while,
contract,
and he was like,
so.
if you need a job, let me know. There's some openings for around Christmas time. I was only there for like a few months though, because it conveniently I used it was true, to be fair, but I wanted to leave anyway, and it happened to be a good excuse. I was like, oh, it's interfering with my schoolwork and my grades are suffering, so it was only a weekend job. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to leave. Truth was, I fucking hated it. Truth was, the pay was crap, and I hated it, and I just it's dealing with the public. But my first like proper job that I was at for a while, I worked for Smith's Toys, which is SMYTHS, not like WH Smiths. It's like an Irish toy. It's like, I think it's like Toys R Us is like biggest competitor, I think.
Is it Irish?
Yeah, Irish owned company. That was as close to hell on earth. And the thing is, going into that job, like everyone said the same thing to me when I said I got it. Like, oh, it's gonna be really cool. She gets to play with all the new toys and all that sort of stuff. And first of all, at the time I was like 17, so I was like, well, I'm not, am I? I was 18 even. So I was like, well, I'm not, am I? Because I'm 18 years old. Like, what the fuck I'm gonna do with a fucking bit of Lego? Like,
Hey. Don't badmouth Lego.
okay, no, Lego's a bad example. You're right, but like, honestly, the word, and I was like, I'm not a huge fan of kids. Like, kids annoy me. Like, because they're loud and they're just the. Honestly, though, the worst part of it was my manager, who was one of the world's biggest arseholes I've ever met in my life. Like, such a horrible person. Like, not even like just one of them people who would just be a prick for the sake of being a prick. Do you know what I mean? Like, and also the parents.
Once, and I was like, "You're a bit of an arsehole."
Mate, the parents as well. Like, honestly, the amount of times I got told I ruined someone's Christmas because like they decided to come in on December 23rd and try and purchase the most popular toy that was around that year. And surprise, surprise, guess what? Hey, it's not in stock. You idiot.
What used to be the most popular toys?
I can't remember. I know that we had. I think around the time Toy Story 3 had just come out, so I think there was a bunch of like Toy Story ones that were really popular. But there was, I remember, I'll never forget this one. It's one of my favourites. This woman came in, and she came up to me and she was like, I was like, hi there, how can I help? And she was like, yeah, I just want to know where you keep your action men. And I was like, oh,
I keep mine in the chest.
I was like, really sorry. I don't know if you mean like the actual brand, but we don't do those because they've been discontinued for about 10 years or how long? Yeah, they've been discontinued for ages. I don't know how long it was at that point, but I'm just saying 10 years is like a rough estimate. Yeah. Like 5-10 years or whatever. And she looks at me without blinking, without any hesitation. Just goes, "No, you have got them. I was in the other day and they were in here." I was like, "But I mean, I work here. I don't care." Yeah, I was in it the other day and the day before that. Guess what? Still not there. They don't exist anymore. I think I said to her oh, like, really sorry, unless it was like something with a very similar name, but like they're not a thing anymore. So like, but all our action figures are down that aisle sort of thing. And she was like, well, I'm gonna go find them. I'm just gonna go find one myself since you can't help me. And I was like, well, unless you've got a time machine I don't know about, love. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. But it's just like the arrogance of just to be like, no, I'm definitely right. Even though you work here and you've been here and you've been in this shop for a lot more hours than I have, I'm definitely right. And it's like, what's the point? Just go, oh, okay, fair enough. I'll just pick up another generic action figure.
Like, do you know what though? It's situations like that. It's really the place or who you work with that makes a situation like that. Because in my first job, I worked at Game in Ilford. I don't even know if it's still there. And that was actually not a bad job. Like, the pay was shit and I didn't get very good hours, but everybody there was just a laugh. It was a really good laugh. Dave, who we used to skate with, I walked in for my first day and I walked into the back room and he was just standing there and I was like, all right. Like, apparently he worked there. So it was like, that was a nice treat. But like, I remember we had this old man come in once and he was asking, I can't remember what game he was asking for, but he was asking for some PC game that just didn't exist. It was something stupid, you know.
They never do.
It was like a plane simulator game or like a train sim or something like that. But he was saying like it's called this. I can't remember what he was saying. He was like, oh yeah, it's called this. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I don't think I've heard of that. And he was like, oh, I'll ask somebody else. And he fucking wandered off. And I was behind the till. And what, like, the deputy manager of the store was like, all right, mate, can I help you? And he was like asking him if he had this game. And he was like, I don't think, I've never heard of that. He was like, but we can search it on the system. And he typed away on the old till. And he just said, hey, could you just come here for a minute and have a look at this? And I walked over and he'd just written, this man is a cunt. Straight face, he was just like, can you just have a look at this? And he just like went off to do something else. And I'm left there with this computer screen. This man is a cunt. I was like, yeah, Sam, we haven't got it, mate. Try not to laugh in this bloke's face.
That's so good. So, Scott, what was it? What was your first one?
I applied for Primark and Game Station. Obviously, I think Hayden had his job at Game, and I was like, oh, that might be a good shout. So I did the old Christmas.
Yeah, we did
Christmas
we did the interview for Game together, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had to go to that place.
But I didn't realise Game and Game Station were actually the same company. Just obviously one was a sister of the other one. So I got an interview for Game Station, as well in Romford, and I got the interview for Primark. I only got the interview for Primark because they asked me. Obviously, you had to do the interviews in the middle of the fucking shopping centre, so everyone's walking past staring at you. And you're like,
I hate having to do that. And
they go to me, so why do you think you should work for Primark? And then, but I used the same thing because I was like, I'd never had a job before. I was like, I'm just going to go out swinging. I didn't actually want a job. I was just doing it because I needed money, and I was just like, you know, so I just come out with the bullshit answer of everyone wants experience, and I can't get experience without a job. So give me a job, and they gave me it. And I remember the guy who did mine was obviously we'll name drop because no one's gonna know. She don't work there anymore anyway. Was Tracy on customer services, and one of the kids, which was James. who did my interviews, and they're like, obviously one of them's now like a manager in still these days lives and breathes Primark, and
Oh yeah, that
yeah,
He loves it.
and yeah, I it's weird because I got offered the job at Primark and then kind of went. I got a second interview for Game Station, and I turned up to this interview. Obviously, I was working at Primark at the time, like literally like first day. I was like, right, I'll quickly run down to the Game Station, and I walked in this fucking like this Game Station, and I was like, they were like, I'll come through the back, go around the back, and it's just a room full of shit. Like you'd think it would be like that, you know, you'd have some sort of order of consoles, all that stuff. Literally, legit, a room which is like a shed size, and it was just had a table in the middle, a garden table, like a plastic garden table, and 2 chairs, and then it was just consoles and everything mounted around up the walls, and then there was just enough room around the door for the fire exit. And he was like, "This is where we have lunch." And it was like in between like the consoles and all that stuff was like the microwave and all that. I was like, this is not safe. This is 100% not safe, especially when I went like my first day at Primark was like they had a big fucking, it was like a massive canteen with like space. Space being the main one, but like
not stock all round, yeah.
I don't want to sit there and go and like I have to have me lunch and I have to sit there staring at a mouth breather over a fucking water, he's looking at his Warhammer or something, and I'm eating a sandwich like.
Yeah. Our stock room in game was pretty well organized, but we used to put stuff in the ceiling because like things would happen, like they'd give us stuff and it would be stupid stuff like Pokemon cards or whatever, and they'd be like, right, we've ordered a bunch of these. Head office would be like, we've ordered a bunch of these for you to sell, and we're going to sell them for like 6 weeks or 6 months or however long. And then what would happen is like after a certain date, they'd be like, right, we're not stocking these anymore, and they'd remove it from the till. So when you scanned it with a barcode, it wouldn't like read it properly. But if we had anything left over, it was like, well, we can't get rid of it because it's still on the stock system, but we can't sell it because it's not on the till. So if you push, there was like this one ceiling panel in the stock room, right, that was clear, and if you put your head up there, there was just boxes of shit hidden in the ceiling. Like,
man. Fucking with Primark, it was kind of like I loved it and hated it. For when I worked there, I think I started there way before Bleach.
Yeah, it was the same Primark.
Yeah. But the people that I worked with over that time were the people that were like we used to hang around with in the pubs and stuff like that around that same time. So it was kind of like they all had. I was there from Monday to Friday, but everyone else was kind of like on weekends, but did like individual days. So it weren't too bad. It was kind of like working with your mates, but I still can't get over one of the managers. Basically, when Primark has a sale and they put everything on a rail for £1, the worst job in the world is to go and put that rail out in a specific location.
Oh yeah, because you take it and it's like you're just carrying like a carcass, and everyone's just picking it in. By the time you get to where it's supposed to be,
I got told to drag this rail from it was from the stock room upstairs. They presented this rail like big fucking red rail. The red rails were the biggest fucking rails because they had so much space on them. You could cram everything into it. And I think this rail was like it was like a mixture of it was like kids wear and then there was women's wear at the bottom, and it was all for £1, all reduced, all had to go. So they had 2 of them, and this manager calls me over because I was in the stockroom at the time, and he's like, "I need you to take this down to the ground floor where the escalator is." And I was like, "That's the worst place because that's the women's section." And it was like just before Christmas time as well, and I was like, I'm going to get swamped here. I was like, this is going to be, because it's like the busiest fucking time. So he was like, I need to do it. So he was like, shut up and do it. I was like, all right, fine. And I don't kid you not. I went to put it, and I had to bend down to put the lock on, right? And there were so many people around me, I got pushed under the rail, and I was under the rail, and I was just laying there on the floor. And I was just like, this is a night. Like, by the time I stood up, the rail was empty. It was gone.
Yeah.
Someone was just walking up and going, there we go. And it just.
Jesus Christ, man.
And yeah, it was just like it was funny. It was really funny, but yeah.
Yeah, as much as I hated Primark, there is some funny memories from that.
Me, you, and Sean working there was by far
Yeah,
the funniest thing.
Because I think what happened, we had like a perfect like overlap where like I think was it you was there for 2 years.
I was there for 4 years.
You was there. Okay, well I think did Sean join you on your last year?
Sean joined me about.
It was like 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, the last 2 years, I think, because I worked with him for a while.
Yeah, it's weird, is that because obviously, like I think what happened is Sean joined Scott when Scott was halfway through his time there.
Yeah.
And then when Scott left, I then joined, and I joined in when Sean was halfway through his time there. And then when Sean left, I was then there for half the amount of time again. And I left. It's like a perfect laddering system. But me and Scott was never there at the same time. I think I joined maybe like 3 or 4 months after Scott quit. But
I think you were joining as in my transition of.
Yeah, there was a period you guys definitely did work together.
Yeah, it was like it must have been about a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh really?
I think
there was a short period.
I think I was cutting down hours because I was trying to get the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like in case anyone's watching, has ever wondered when they go into like Primark shops or any other shops, and you see something on a reduced rail, and like this is really nice. I really like this. It's reduced as well. Why not? Take it to the till, and it's like, oh yeah, this ain't reduced. So it was on a fucking rail. It's my fault.
There's take it back where it should be. Oh fuck it.
No, that's because obviously the reduced rail is just such an amalgamation of different clothes.
Yeah, you get away
what you
with
do is like customer service will be like, right, these are all the clothes that have been returned to the store. Go find where they've been. Go find their place and just place them on the rail. And you go down. You just go down. You could just talk to other people. And when you're like, oh, I've been down here for like 30, 40 minutes now. I should probably go back to my section. And actually, otherwise I'm going to get told off for not doing my work. So you just get all these clothes you're supposed to return. I would just shove it on a sale round, just walk back upstairs.
That was the most dreaded time in that whole workplace was when you had a tannoy asking for your section. So like obviously Bleach, what section were you?
I was kids, so I was Department 5.
Yeah, I was the same. I was on that section. A lot of people got moved. I got put on that section from when I started, and I didn't get taken off until the very end. I was probably one of the only people that in that place, apart from like the old school people that actually stayed
the
on
OGs.
one and then ended on one. But when if they asked you for a certain department and they went to go to customer services, that was the most dreaded fucking time. Because you have to go and everything that everyone's returned, which is either dirty or fucking has been worn and you can smell it's been worn, but somehow they've managed to return it anyway. They've just put it on a hanger and we went, put it back out on the shop floor and you have to go and find it. So you have to find this item of clothing.
But like Primark as well, it changes like its floor plan like every week.
Yeah.
So it like you never know where things are, and like the fucking if like that person from that department sees you walking on a bunch of clothes and looking like that, like don't you fucking dare put anything out of place on my section because they're gonna have to clean it up. And like so like you're talking to them while slyly kind of like putting the wrong thing like around the corner from them, and it's just so passive. It's Primark and it's so passive aggressive. It was so passive aggressive.
What I used to do was go up to people and go, either you put these away properly, or I'm going to dump them somewhere. And he was still like, yeah, go on, give them to me.
Yeah.
Just go off and do it.
I remember I used to do that to a couple of people who I was friends with. I was like, listen, I'm putting these here because I can't be bothered to deal with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes they'd be like, oh, come on, I'm going to show you where they all go. I'm like, there's no point. Next week it's not going to be there. I don't fucking care.
Yeah. I quite liked my first job. After I left there, because I was only there as like a Christmas temp, and it's fucking proper fun. But I left there as after Christmas temp, and then I got a job at Asda, and that was the fucking most depressing like 4 months of my life. Like honestly, it was the worst fucking job I've ever had. Because I was going for interviews at the time as well.
I really need to go to the bathroom. I'm really sorry. Carry on, man.
No worries.
I was going for interviews for jobs at the time, like in the city, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try and get like a proper job kind of thing. And then they phoned me up and like, well done, you've got the job at Asda. And I was like, and then it was like night shifts. It was like I went from working like weekend and day shifts with all these people again that I like actually liked and had a laugh with, fucking about with games. We got like 25% off games. It was insane.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I went from that to literally putting bread on shelves, for like in 6-hour shifts.
Not many
there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Okay,
no,
right.
of course, of course.
But it was
Someone's
what I
gotta do
mean
it.
is I went from an environment where I worked with people I liked in an industry that I actually
Yeah.
had some interest in, 'cause like video games and stuff, to bread, which I'm not a bread aficionado. I don't really care about Kingsmill and Hovis. And it was a night shift. So it's fucked up all my sleeping pattern because I had to be there from like 11 at night till 6 in the morning. And I was on my own, so I didn't have anybody to talk to or anything. It was the worst thing. And the manager there was no manager on my section because it was like I did all the packaged, like when you go to like supermarket, you have the bakery where you've got all the fresh bread and like fresh kind of cakes and all that shit. And then you'll have the bit next to it, which is like all the cakes in boxes and the pre-packaged bread like Kingsmill and Mr. Kipling cakes and all that bollocks. Other cakes and breads are available. And I was on that bit, just stacking shelves. And so there was no manager. So the manager from like the frozen bit had to keep an eye on me. And she just didn't like me and used to just bollock me for like the smallest thing. And it was the worst fucking job. It was when I got a proper job and left, and they were like, I was just like, and I remember on my last night shift, that manager came over and started bollocking me for something. And it was something I hadn't done as well. It was like she would come over and be like, "You didn't take any of the old dates off because obviously you have to do stock rotation and shit because you've got to keep stuff on by the sell by date." She was like, "You haven't taken off any of the old dates," and I would always be like, "Well, I have," because she'd be like, one of the guys from my section came and looked, and he brought off a stack of stuff this big, and I was like, "Well, that's funny because that's how big the stack was that I took off and left over at the side to be marked down in the morning." Anyway. And she come over and bollocked me for something like that. And on my last day, I just looked and I was just like, yeah, I did do that. Yeah, sorry. Because it was like, oh, last week you did this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. And I, on purpose, just didn't take any day. I just didn't do anything. And I thought, I can't wait for her to be like, I'm going to fucking bollock him next week so bad. And I just weren't there. I was left I hated that place so much.
I think
I burned that place down.
I mean, count yourself lucky that you did night work and got paid for it.
Yeah, that's
from my experience,
yeah,
I didn't.
Before you tell that story, Mike, like I will say that was the one good thing about Asda was that the night shift work was like something like £9.60 an hour, which is not terrible for just putting bread on a shelf.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
That's really good.
That's what that would be like, living the dream back then.
Yeah.
And at one point it was like if you worked Christmas, and I think I did a bit of that because I might have worked Christmas Eve or whatever. It was like it was like triple pay. Like we didn't get money for working bank holidays. We didn't get money for work, like extra money for bank holidays or Sundays or weekends or any of that. But we got triple pay if you worked Christmas. Because obviously, although supermarkets are shut at Christmas, they still have staff in the shelves for when they're open afterwards. And I think I did like a night shift on Christmas Eve. So it rolled over into Christmas and it was triple pay. So I was on like £27 an hour for like 4 hours. I was like, fucking raking it. I'm Billy Big Bollocks here.
Easy money, isn't it? That's easy money.
And I did get bollocked though. That was the thing. For like 2 hours. So everything was always my fault in that place. I fucking hated it. It was the worst place I've ever worked in my entire life.
Christmas when you're doing that sort of work is like, I'm pretty sure I used to really, really enjoy Christmas, and I enjoy it a little bit more nowadays. But like, honestly, man, like working in a toy shop around Christmas time. I only did one Christmas there because I was meant to be a Christmas temp, and I ended up working there throughout my gap year before, and then got out before I went to uni. But so I was there for just under a year. But yeah, like working Christmas in that place, it killed any sort of Christmas spirit that I previously had, because like, as I sort of alluded to, like it was so busy, and there was so many, like, honestly, like as soon as it got to like November time, or like middle of November up until Christmas, like every single day, I mean weekends were worse, but like every single day from 10 to 6 or 9 to 5 or whatever out, or 10 to 8, which I sometimes did, it was never not busy. There was never like a down period because people were obviously coming and doing their Christmas shopping, right? Yeah. To the point where we always had to make sure. So they end up getting night people in around that time as well, because like since what Hayden said, they had to make sure that all the shelves were stocked for the next day. So obviously when it's so busy, kind of people coming in and the shelves are empty. And so they used to get night people in, but then what they would also do is they would put people like me on like a 2 o'clock start, 10 o'clock. So 2 p.m. start, 10 p.m. finish. And then my manager would turn around and go, yeah, you're not going home until all your work's done, pretty much. And it was like, and it's that thing as well. It's like, it's around Christmas. Because he kind of held all the cards. Because it was around Christmas, you knew how difficult it was going to be for other people to leave and get jobs at that point. It was kind of like, well, I can't turn around and go, no, go fuck yourself. Because then I've got no money to get Christmas or anything like that. Like, I was with my ex at the time. With my ex at the time, I was going to obviously buy my parents Christmas presents and whatnot, my brother and all that. And like, and obviously you want to go out around Christmas time to go drinking with your mates, don't you? So it's like, I can't lose my income because then I lose all that. But yeah, man, like having to do like 2 p.m. starts and leaving the store at like 4 a.m. and knowing you weren't getting paid for those extra hours, like
that's the worst bit. Like,
yeah,
it was kind of the same as Asda. It was like you couldn't just leave if your shift was over. You couldn't just leave if the shelves were empty or messy or whatever. They were like, no, you need to stay and sort this. But because you were still clocked in, you'd get paid still.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember like they would just make us. I think some people they make clock out. I never had to do it. They actually made people go and clock out and then go back to work. Like,
and me and Scott can't relate to that because I think at Primark, if there's like, oh, you can't leave until this is done, it's like, now my shift is done. See ya.
Yeah.
No, I think someone tried to stop me once, and I hit watch me, and I just walked off.
I mean, don't be wrong, you'd get bollocked to fuck the next morning, but I mean, it's worth it.
I felt sorry for people that were on. Obviously, like, so the shift patterns were like, obviously it was shut at 7, but then you'd have people on for an hour afterwards to kind of tidy up and then move on to the next morning. So I used to finish when it shut, but Bleach on the other hand, Bleach and Sean were on the 4 to 8 shift. So that was literally the tidy up shift, essentially, of just you got to face up everything again, and then it's all fucking put out stock, which is also shit. The one thing I don't miss on that bloody thing is the pajamas, the kids' pajamas on them tables were the worst fucking thing because I can't, like, I'm right for folding stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But
the kids' pajamas just would not make sense. They would not fold.
I'm looking at these. I'm like, does these go with this? I'm like, yeah, they do. They roll them up, and then I'm like, just stuff them in on the table, and then you watch people pulling them out, like, and they're like, how is it? Like, how are they all completely pulled out? Like after like half after you folded them? I'm like, because I didn't fold them I didn't pair them together at all. I paired them with the wrong fucking things.
Yeah.
Or it's like a 1 to 2 with a 4 and 8, or 4 to 6. I'm like, yeah, that works.
Baby's shirt with an adult's trousers.
Honestly, like, I remember once, like, I got put on like kids' pajamas for once, and the entire thing, I was like, they're the same design, they're going together. But then, like, but then, it's like a 6-year age gap between the tops and bottoms.
Yeah, everyone's questioning their head why all the pajamas are being returned.
I remember the worst bit is I was like my actual section on kids was babies, and I had to do like all like the onesies that come in packages.
Oh yeah.
God, fucking cunts. Honestly, it's the worst fucking thing. But I think me and Scott had the same situation as well, where we were constantly late, and we'd get we always got pulled up on being. Well, I say I always got pulled up on being late. So I was there for 2 years, and then I was late every single day by like 15 to 30 minutes every single day. I was late, and then the week before I quit, the day after I handed in my notice, when no one else knew I handed my notice, I finally got pulled in by a manager going, right, we need to figure out this whole late situation. It's like, this cannot go on anymore.
Don't worry, I've sorted it. It's fine.
Yeah. No, I didn't even say that. I just sat there with a shit-eating grin on my face, going like, go on, reprimand me.
Yeah.
See what happens. I'm not going to be here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we like collectively, I think like I got pulled into an office with Sean, and the manager pulled up both, because obviously you had to clock in with your right hand to obviously show you your times and that, and then they add
like
he pulled up the minutes of how much. I think Sean had like, it was so stupid. It was like 700 minutes of lateness.
Didn't Sean have like the store record of the most late ever?
The most amount, and they were like, we need to work this out. I think Sean even said, take it out my pay, and then they were like, we can't do that, and he was like, exactly.
He's not exactly the most punctual person now, is he? Really?
No.
He had like 700 minutes of lateness or something like that. It was something ridiculous, but it was, it was insane. But I think I was close, not far behind behind him on the lateness.
Fuck
Yeah, I remember there's one time as well when me and Sean were getting like one of the times that we was like seriously in trouble where it's like, oh, we're about to have like a proper sit down meeting and get kind of yelled at. We got pulled into the back office and we walked in. There was only 2 chairs. And obviously, there's a manager about to talk to us, and Sean sat down in the other chair. So like this big burly man, like this big fat bald burly man, was standing there like quite intimidating, scouse guy. He was like, right, lads, take a seat. There's only 1 chair, so Sean sat down. I looked, I just sat on the floor and I crossed my legs and I looked up. And like Sean was just like snickering the entire time, trying not to laugh. And the guy's film then goes off, and it ended up being House of Pain. So like halfway through, like getting seriously talked to, all you hear
is whole room just starts going.
Honestly, me and Sean just like burst out laughing, and the manager was like, "Oh yeah, you guys are free to go." Because he knew that
I would say Smith's had its moments. I wouldn't say, I still don't think it'd be the worst job I've ever had. Like, for me, it's between 2 because I worked for a pub.
Fuck that! Fuck.
But it's the thing. It wasn't just a pub. It's a very well known. It was part of a very well known chain of pubs in the UK.
Should we give it a pseudonym? Perhaps Without a Knife. Call it?
You know what I mean. Yeah, but you'll know what I mean. They said where you want to go for a cheap night out. If you're from the UK, you'll know what I mean. But like,
unless you're from one of the posh areas.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You must be talking about that filthy old bar one.
That was. It's what is like I said. That's tied for me one of the worst jobs I've ever had. It's the 2 that I've got for completely different reasons. The reason why the pub was so bad, because I was saying earlier about dealing with the public is awful. Now try dealing with the public when they're drunk.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Honestly, mate, like having to talk down to like grown men in their like 50s who have got like a wife and family, and talk down to them like I'm their you know what I mean, like I'm their superior. Like, I'll never forget once I was serving, but like, cause the first like week of working in a pub, it can be a bit like sort of daunting, because obviously you don't want to fuck up a pint, or you don't want to keep people waiting, because you know how annoying it is to be stuck waiting ages to be served at a bar, right? But some nights are just busier than others. There's not really much you can do about that.
Yeah.
And there always is, just keep an eye on who comes to the bar. So when you're serving, just try and always keep an eye on who's next. And if you're not sure, just go, right, who was next? And then you just got to kind of hope that people will be honest and say...
try and be honest.
Yeah.
If someone standing next to me is before me, I'll be like...
I always do. But then the problem is with these sort of pubs, it's been open for like 20 odd years or whatever. You've got your regulars who are down there every single night. And I mean every night from like 5 until closing time.
Drunks, we'll call them.
Yeah, like... And there was this one guy who was a regular, and I fucking hated him because he was a prick. Like, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's so lovable." And he's like, "No, he's a fucking knobhead." Like, and he thinks he gets special treatment because he comes in here every single day. And I remember serving some bloke, and I was talking to a customer, and from the other end of the bar, I could just hear this. He's banging his empty pint glass on the bar. I heard him do it the first time. I was like, "Nah, fuck you. I'm just gonna ignore you." So I carried on, like, pour my drink, talking to the customer, starts doing it again. Ignored him again, and he just went, "Any chance of service?" I just went, "Well, I'll tell you what, mate. If you keep banging your glass on the bar, I won't serve you at all." So how about that? Does that work for you? Or just want to sit there and wait like everyone else? And he was like, he did that whole thing of like, "Ooh, sorry, mate." I was like, "Fuck you! Like, I don't get paid nowhere near enough to put up with your bullshit." Like, and it was like, the customers were the worst. The fucking people who worked there were the worst. Like, I remember once we had this new manager start, like about halfway into my time there, and she was the fucking worst. Like, proper like power hungry, because she's a manager of a pub. She thinks she's the fucking bollocks, right? And I was serving this guy once. I served like a round of drinks, and this guy leans over for something, and he knocks one of the drinks over. And this is obviously before he's had a chance. I think it's before, maybe just as he's paid, I think. But obviously he hasn't taken the drinks from the bar to his table, or whatever. And he's gone like, "Oh, mate," I was like, "I'll pour you another drink, man. It's all right." No, it wasn't. I was like, "Look, I'll try and I should be able to pour you another drink. Let me just double check my manager, though, because I can't obviously make that decision." And he was like, "Yeah, of course. Like, I understand." So I go to the manager, and I'm like, "Explain what happened." I explained to her what happened. Like, you know, complete accident, one of them things. It is what it is, sort of thing. And she looks at me and she goes, "So, well, you're going to have to pay for it then." And I was like, and she said this in front of the customer. So I said that, and I was like,
which is bad form.
And I just went, why have I got to pay for it? And to be fair to the customer, he leaned over and went, yes, like, sorry, love, like, it wasn't his fault. Like, it wasn't really anyone's fault. It was just an accident. Like, I just, you know, I just want a replacement drink if that's okay. And I was like, yeah, like, and he was like, yeah, there's no reason for him to pay for it. Like, he didn't do anything. And I was like, well, yeah, there you go. Like, I'm just asking, can I pour him another drink? And she literally in front of the whole bar, she went, fine, I'll fucking pay for it myself then, and just walked off. And I was like,
oh my god.
But what was great though, because the customer came back about 20 minutes later for another round. He put his order in. And he went, "You getting this one then, yeah?" I was like, yeah, probably. And the one last quick one I'll say from the pub is like, you must have had this at Primark and any other job you have, right? Where someone new comes in and they want to impress, and they think that because they've worked in a similar field that they're more experienced, therefore they're your superior when it comes to work, because they think they can tell you what to do. Even though you're both like sales reps or bar staff, because they've worked within the company for longer.
Even though you're both working minimum fucking wage.
Yeah, right, exactly. So this fucking for whatever reason, after a while at this pub, I got put on to work to waiting tables, which I was like, whatever with, that's fine. And this new girl had started, and our usual thing was with dirty plates. You put them. So you got the bar. And then just on the corner of that, you got this little bit where you put the dirty glasses, and you also put plates there, so the bar staff pick them up and take them to the kitchen, because there was no like window into the kitchen to leave the dirty plates, right? And so I put my plates there, and she comes out, she goes, "What are you doing?" And she'd been working there for about a week by this point. I'd been there for about 3 months, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, dirty plates. I'm just putting them there." She went, "Well, no, you take them to the kitchen." I was like, "No, I don't." And like, so no, I don't. That's how we've done it for ages. Like unless my manager tells me, I'm not going to change it. And she went, "Well, I'm telling you to do it, so can you just go and do it?" And I looked at her in the eye. She went, "Sorry, who are you?" I was like, "Oh, I'm whatever her name was." And I went, "Right. You've been hired as what? Supervisor, shift leader, deputy manager? Like what is it?" She went, "No, I'm a bar assistant." I went, "Oh, so you're exactly the same as me. So who the fuck do you think you are? Fucking trying to tell me what to do then?"
Was she hot though?
No. And the fucking the most annoying part. The most annoying part. I went to like some leaving drinks thing like after I left. Some girl I used to work with left, and I went to a leaving do, and like this same girl came up to me and she was like being all matey, and I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna fucking be a dickhead. I'll be civil." And she just turned around and something like, "It's like, you never liked me, did you?" I went, "Not really, no." She thought it was because I was a bitch. I went, "Yeah, it was. You were fucking horrible to work with."
Like
yeah, so you were fucking horrible to work with. Like, honestly, pain in the ass. But yeah, I'd say pub work is definitely like.
Yeah, I don't think I could work.
If it was an independent pub, like it's like a family owns a pub and it's just like sort of independently run and all that sort of stuff, I could probably do it because I think they're a lot more lenient and you can probably actually enjoy. They probably allow you to enjoy your job a bit more. But like,
you need patience of a saint.
Oh yeah, honestly, man, like it's some of the fucking stuff that used to go on in that pub, especially like seeing people getting kicked out because they were doing drugs in the bathrooms, or like fucking like I'm trying to think of some funny things that other funny things. This is a good one. When I was waiting tables, I had a bloke pull me over and he was like, "I've got to complain about my meal." I was like, "Okay, sure, what's up?" Thinking like I think he had like fish and chips. So I thought, maybe his fish undercooked or whatever. He went, "This meant to come with a lemon, like a sliced lemon," and I was like, "I mean, it's the lemon's there, so like, what's the problem?" And he just looked at me and went, "It's bigger in the picture. Can you go ask for a bigger bit of lemon?" And I thought he was joking. You know when you sort of laugh?
Yeah.
I sort of like went, but he didn't. He was just straight faced. I was like, "Wait, you actually being serious?" He generally got arsey because the lemon in the picture was bigger than what was on his plate. I was like, "It's just for seasoning, man. You don't actually eat the lemon, you just squeeze it to give it a bit more flavour. Like, it's not a side. You fucking idiot." Like,
for wandering off with fucking pints. Because we had like, I don't know, I had like half a pint and they were like, "It's closing time, we've got to get out now." And I was like, "I'm not leaving this." We just fucked off. Kyle come up to us because we were like, "We'll just leave, we'll wait down the road for everybody else." Kyle was like, "Oh, the bouncer said you're barred for a week." And it was like, all right, well, I'm not going to go back there till next week anyway. So,
oh no,
I give a fuck.
Yeah, it was. It was the worst, mate. I would, like, unless it's like an independently owned pub, I wouldn't recommend that sort of pub work to anyone. It's just for the money you get, not worth it. Even if you do get paid weekly, it's not worth it. Like,
I would recommend retail though. I think that's a good starting experience, especially if you like people's working lives.
it's character building. It's character building, if
It is
anything
definitely
else.
character, and it can be a good if you're with the right people and you've got like a half decent manager and you're working with the right people, it can be good crack.
Mm.
Yeah,
Like,
you'll get like fun memories if you work with good people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we used to do all kinds of shit. You know, like it was like I can't be bothered. One of the like deputy managers was like a fucking rugby player. So I mean, he wasn't exactly ripped, but he was pretty big. He's a bit of a chunky guy, but he was pretty big. And it'd be things like there'd be stuff on the top shelf that no one could reach, and it'd be like, oh, it's a whole health and safety thing if we've got to go and get the ladder, and someone's got to hold. Like it'd be an A-frame ladder, but someone's still got to hold it and all that. And he'd be like, "Can I just pick you up and you can just get it off the top shelf?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, all right." Fucking lifting me up by my legs. I'm like, "Oh fuck." Getting PlayStation and shit off the top shelf.
I remember being at Smith's once, and we were doing one of the late shifts, and we used to have pallets to bring out all the stock to put them on the shelves. And because it was after closing, like no one was in the shop, we were just fucking around. And like a friend of ours, Stuart, was balancing on because it was a pallet, but also one of the pulley things you have. I can't remember what they're called. But he was balancing on the fucking pallet, just going like, "Look at me!" And this other guy we knew, Jack, just sort of looked at everyone. And then just sort of softly rested his foot on the pallet. And then when Stuart turned around, just like basically kicked it from underneath him. And I've never seen a human being go like a full 180 up in midair. Like, it was so fucking good. Thankfully, our manager wasn't around at the time. There was no camera. Like, we were outside of cameras. Otherwise, we would have all been absolutely bollocks for it. But that's the thing. It's just little things like that if you can get away with. So anything to make the working day more bearable. Do you know what I mean?
Always intriguing to kind of know how the job would be nowadays, especially because it's probably a lot more stricter.
Yeah, I almost definitely is. Well,
when you do jobs like that, like when we all had jobs like that, we were all fucking teenagers. Do you know what I mean? Or at least like quite young. And back then, you don't really care. You're just doing it for a bit of money for spending down the pub.
Yeah, essentially.
Laugh, and you do just take the piss a little bit and do make the whole thing a laugh. I think if I had to go back now, it would be awful because it would be like well, this is my job now. This is my life. I got paying my bills.
Yeah, like imagine like you're trying to like have like a kind of a serious career in one of those shops, which isn't a bad thing. But imagine that's what you're doing. Like that is your career, but then you're just surrounded by like 18-year-olds who just don't fucking care.
That's the thing.
I can now understand it from their point of view.
The thing is, I can understand it from their point of view, and I can understand how it must be frustrating. But at the same time, it's like I never liked being in those sort of jobs around those sort of people who just expected you to care as much as they did. Like that's the thing that got me. Like being told, like I remember being pulled into when I was working at Smith's. I got pulled into the office once, just to be told. I basically got reprimanded because I told I wasn't looking happy, and I was like, it was like, yeah, you're walking around with like a grumpy face all the time. You just look really miserable all the time. And it's like, basically, it's like you walk around like with a strop on all day, and I'm like,
it's my crippling depression.
I think I said to him, I was like, what do you want me to say? I was like, do I enjoy the job? No, I fucking hate it here. But I need the money. I need the money to have a social life. So the trade-off is I work this shit job. And I said to him, I was like, has my work been affected? Like, have I come in and done would you say I come in and do bad work, or do I get my shit done and go home? He was like, yeah, well, I suppose so. I was like, well, then what's the fucking problem then? Like, and having like the supervisors and stuff being like, give you this pep talk of like, it's really, because it's really important you work here because you could be me in a few years. It's like, mate, no offense. It's great that it's like, no offense. If you want to end up working your way to become a manager of one of these stores, fucking fair play to you, mate. Work if that's what you want to do. Work your ass off and you'll get there. Like, more power to you. I don't know. Like, so that exactly. Ask me to do my job, and if you're respectful, I'll do it. But don't expect me to care as much as you do when it's so fucking obvious that this job is shit. Like, and again, it's easy to say that when you're in a supervisor position.
Yeah, that's the thing with the supervisor and stuff. You're on a salary. A lot of them are on like half decent money. Like, it's probably not big bucks, but you know what I mean. They're on all right money. They're getting like sales related bonuses if the store does well. Meanwhile, you're cracking away working for fucking £6.80 an hour.
That's the thing.
Like, it's like, where's your money?
When I started at Primark, I was on £4.95.
Oh my god,
it's grim.
Jesus Christ!
And then it went up to £5.65.
I'll never forget what I had on my notice in at Smiths, right? Because me and the manager there we just didn't get on, like mainly because he was a cunt. But like we just it got to the point where we just didn't even talk to each other. He was like, just come in, do whatever. But I was like, when I handed my notice in, I was like, I'm gonna be respectful. I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna go and hand my notice in to him personally and just say, I'm handing my 2 weeks notice. I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to work here, but I'll be leaving in 2 weeks. And try and end it on like some sort of good terms, right?
As an adult.
The mistake I made was that I tipped off because I spoke to one of the assistant managers who was so far up the manager's ass, like you barely saw him throughout the day. Like he was such a kiss ass, and I made the mistake of being like, "Oh, it's Nick in today." I've said his name, it doesn't matter. I've said his name, but like, it's Nick in today, and he was like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just don't want to give the cunt airtime." I was like, "Is he in today?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, well, like, I think she'd been late a while." I was like, "Oh, I've got I'm had my notice in today." But I was like, just do me a favour, don't mention anything to it because I want to do it myself. So, okay, yeah, cool, no worries. So anyway, about 4 o'clock, where I see him come out of the manager's office, I was like, "Oh, Nick, have you got a moment?" And he literally, without even looking at me, just went, "Yeah, Rory told me. See you later." Just walked off down the shop. I was like, well, fuck you then. Prick.
Well, on that cheery note, I know it's the time. I guess we should wrap up. So,
Jesus, quick.
Yeah, it's
yeah, I
fine,
know.
boy.
That does rattle through, doesn't it? So I don't know if anyone's got anything they want to shout out, your Twitch channels or streaming schedules or anything before we wrap it up.
Mine's been on the screen this whole time, so
Yeah.
feel free.
If anyone likes
Smash that like and subscribe button.
yeah, if anyone likes Football Manager, I will be streaming Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 o'clock.
All right. Well then, thank you everybody for watching, and I guess we'll be back in 2 weeks on Friday the
Something.
calendar right quick. Too fun with that. Like Friday the 4th, I guess. Friday the 4th of November.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be fun.
November, even.
December. Oh my god, December.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But
Christmas themed podcast, anyone?
Yeah,
Nah.
we do need to discuss these.
Yeah.
yeah, should get some organisation going, boys. But anyway, thank you all for watching. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Make sure you follow, subscribe, not subscribe.
Yeah,
Subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do
watch
have a
this over YouTube. Subscribe.
Working Overtime podcast on YouTube. Subscribe for updates. And we'll see you guys all again soon. So thanks for watching and goodbye.
We love you all.